Howdy. And it's another day, and it's VE Day. And I'm showing my respect today. It's a nice sunny day. Normally we have street parties here on today, but that's not really allowed. But I salute them in any case. But I found a sad news story today, and I'll put a link to it down below. It's about a man in South California that he stabbed his pregnant wife, who's 6 months pregnant, took the younger child of theirs and drove off. And then crashed the car, and somebody came over to help, and they tried to stab them and then threw the young child over a cliff. I believe the child was 1 year old. The child died, and the pregnant wife is survived and is in hospital, I believe. So what situation could there possibly have been for this to have taken place? Because this is not normal behavior for people, is it? And of course the story is twisted in such a way that there's no background story about the man. He's just a bad man. And the female is obviously good. Now I know in this case the man is pretty bad. But he wouldn't normally have done this, would he? There must have been something that pushed him to that point. For instance, if we switch it around and put a female in the position of the man, they would always have a backstory about her, about how she had to deal with this and had to deal with that. But for the man, he's just a bad man. No backstory at all. Well, whatever the case, it's a very, very sad story for all. Not only did a young child lose their life, but it's devastating for everybody involved. It's even devastating for me to have to read this. But in a situation like this or similar, both the male and the female should take responsibility for getting to that point. I mean, I have seen through my life where the female uses the children as weapons and levers and creates the man a lot of pain and anguish. She quite enjoys watching it. It's a bit sad sometimes. Like I say, I'm not saying that's what happened here, but I have seen women use the children as weapons to the man because they know what the children mean to him. Sadly, there's more and more stories like this in the news, isn't there? And it's very sad because it destroys a whole family. I also remember going back quite a few years when there was this group and they protested. There were fathers for their children, and some of them used to climb buildings, and even some of them jumped off buildings and ended their life because that's how strongly they thought about it. Because they had nowhere to turn. The trouble is there should be laws for the male and female to sort things out, especially for the children. Because it's no good leaving it to the female, because once there's a breakup, the female can be very, very vindictive. And the laws should step in to equalize it, but they don't. They actually help the female be more vindictive to the man. They give her full control of the children. And all the courts and the females seem to worry about is they just want the money from the man every month. Visitation rights, maybe, if they feel in a good mood. And if the man doesn't pay every month, he gets arrested and put in jail. Oh yes, society and the system is very, very broken. I kind of wish I never read that story. It's maybe a bit sad. But on a sort of a lighter note, here in the UK, on the radio especially, I listen to it at work. They're always going on every now and then. It's a government thing. Stay at home, save lives, and all this. And only go out when necessary. And they keep repeating that message on the radio. But there's been a new one come on there just recently. And this is obviously from the government. Only listen to recognized professional media. In other words, what they approve, I guess. And don't listen to other media. And if you read something or hear something that's not right, report it. Hang about. What country are we living in? So they want all the information you receive from the government and nowhere else. I think I know what country I'm in now. Oh, that reminds me. Whatever happened to that guy Hussein or whatever from WikiLeaks? Hey, he disappeared, didn't he? He's gone. That was a good trick. You see, I don't know, but every time they kind of say it's for your own good, I get suspicious. This health and safety thing, they always mention it's for your own good, but really it's just for control, isn't it? To be honest, at the present time, I don't believe any media at all anymore. And it's true what they've always said, and it's always going to be true, that money speaks louder than words. So anybody listening out there, I'll just remind you, you give me loads of money, and I'll say anything you want, okay? What kind of worries me a little bit is that there seems to be more and more people who have been brainwashed and agree with things instead of people who think outside the box, make their own decisions, and they're getting less and less. For me, I still use my inner primeval thoughts and common sense to decide what I think. Sure, facts and figures can help, but they can be fudged. So it's your natural instincts, your primal instincts that I'm still using. And people out there still have them. They don't just go away after hundreds of thousands of years of making them. So try and access that if you can. The primeval thing I'm talking you to access is, when you meet somebody for the first time, there's something primeval going on to ascertain that person is good, bad, or something not quite right. It may be dormant in a lot of you at the moment, but reactivate it now. Take it easy.